Okay. Hi.
Good morning.
I'm Joanne from Magpies Cottage.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Dawn from Frivolous Frugal.
Our guest star today. We're coming to you from location. We're at our annual knitting retreat. It's at Cedar Valley Resort in West Bend, Wisconsin.
It's been a great long weekend of knitting, but a total blast. And it's kind of neat to be able to do the podcast live and on location.
Yeah, yay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're looking at us and you're seeing bags on our eyes, that's because we were knitting up to midnight the last 2 nights. So,
Yep.
just to overlook.
You enjoying yourself?
Absolutely, and it's a makeup-free weekend too.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I worry about makeup on any weekend.
I don't
Yeah. I haven't gotten a lot of knitting done though.
I have.
Have you? Good.
Well, not as much as I wanted to, but I always have overzealous goals anyways. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you consider the entire body of a sweater, yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of knitting.
that's a lot of knitting.
Since I haven't even gotten the ribbing done of this one.
I think, between chatting and taking classes.
Yeah.
And chatting and chatting, playing games.
Yep. The classes, by the way, are all volunteer taught, and Amy and Dawn both were teachers. So gracious, thank you both. So yeah.
Some classes went better than others.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
saying.
we learned some lessons.
Just saying. I learned a few things about teaching people how to knit socks, and okay,
Yeah.
I'll do better next time.
Same with brioche. So.
Yeah, maybe I think just ranking the classes and saying that the socks and the brioche were more intermediate to expert.
Yes.
I think that would
They were higher levels.
Yep, that'd be
You know, and that's okay. Live and learn.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that the people taking the one sock class, your understanding of sock knitting has a lot to do with where I start teaching you. And I guess, okay, that applies at school too. So it's like, why I didn't think of that for a knitting class, I don't know, but okay. That's okay. That's how we learn things too. So, but it's been a
I
fun
think
weekend.
we're gonna get visitors. I see some people.
All right, they're
lining
coming up. They're
on
gonna
the
watch
sides.
us. Oh
Yes.
no!
You'll see some of our retreat guests. I can't even see what it
Oh
says.
no!
The table of influence.
Okay.
Explain what the table of influence is.
The Table of Influence is our Thursday night knit group. We've been deemed that because we solve the problems of the world every Thursday night during open knitting at Magpies Cottage.
Yes.
So you will see, I guess, what is going to be a procession behind us of the table of influence. So,
Okay.
Come
well,
on, ladies.
a finer group of people you will never meet. So,
Yes.
absolutely.
all right. Oh no! Oh, we've got a
I just stepped to the side so
conga
you
night.
can, see what
All
they're
right.
gonna
Okay, here we go.
So wave at the camera.
So wave, yes, say hello. The good news is nobody's in their underwear.
Not even any pajamas.
Yes. Okay, yes, this was a definite pajama zone here.
That was
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you for
Thank you,
parading
ladies.
in. Okay, they all made their, television or we call it internet debut. How cool is that?
So the first person you saw with the sign is Laurel
Yes.
from Blue Doxy Dye Works.
Right.
Yes. You've heard us talk about Laurel and her wonderful yarn. Well, now you saw the Laurel,
almost
the
every
human.
podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, because we use her yarn a lot.
Yeah, she should be a guest.
Yeah,
we
we'll
can do
have
that.
her one time.
That we can. Oh my gosh, we're just
Oh,
expanding
on
our
a knitting
horizons.
weekend because she's there anyway. We'll do
Oh,
that
that's an
sometime.
idea. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to introduce Laurel to you.
Yeah. So Amy, you want to show your goodie bag, which was
Okay.
the first thing we got when we got here?
Joanne made these for us. How cool is that? Literally sewed everyone on her own. So we all love that. But this was mine. She managed to make sure that I got my favorite color, lime green, which I thought was really cool. So in our nitty bags, first off, we've got to find the note on sponsorship so I don't forget. These bags were sponsored by, of course, the cottage. And, of course, Blue Doxy Dye Works from Laurel. The Frivolous and Frugal Podcast. And, oh, just for the record, I am missing frugal Just saying.
Yeah.
I wish she was able to come. But, you know, snow and those things don't always work well with driving. And then, of course, Knitting Fever had something in our bag. So, first off, from Magpies, we have this wonderful skein of Cascade 128. I have this lovely gray. They were all different colors in the bag.
That
So,
was fun.
yeah, so that was fun. And then I have another wonderful skein. This is the one that came from Knitting Fever.
Right.
Okay, this is cool. It's squishy, wonderful, DK weight. How do you say the Huasco?
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
All right. And I have
DK weight.
DK weight, and I love the color. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'll come up with something. And then there's more yarn. Laurel, we each got a skein of her fingering weight. Mine happens to be pink. What's amazing is the colors that were all of my colors. I'll use this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
And those are cute packages.
Yeah, I like what
Yeah.
she did. Oh, and there were stitch markers in all the bags too in the bottom. And I thought that was neat.
Nice.
And then a Magpie's coffee mug lined with lime green. How cool is that? Yeah. And then from Frivolous and Frugal. Okay, these were fun. Everyone got an ornament in their bag. Mine happens just to be a round ball, but there were snowmen, there were trees. I saw all kinds of different shapes. But the deal is you take a scrap of yarn and take the top off, put the scrap of yarn in there, and the scraps of yarn make all kinds of cool colors in your ornament. And then you hang it, of course, on your tree, and it's kind of a memory thing. I thought
could
that
put a
was
little-
genius. Where did you find that idea?
You could put a
from
little
the 3-ply podcast.
Well, thank you.
a little cardboard with the year, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
have a
You could do all
2019
kinds of
there,
things in there.
And then it'll be all 2019
Okay.
scraps.
However, as much as I love my ornament, I can't tell you how much I love these. There is a stitch marker in there. I have a penny and a dollar sign. I wonder where that comes from. Who's frivolous and who's frugal? All right, but it's so cute. Now, some had dollar signs. Now, what were the other ones?
$100 bills.
Oh, well, I got the dollar sign. I could use the $100 bill. All right, and then, I have stitch markers.
And those little
These were
containers
made.
will be fun.
These
for
were
beads
made
and
by
stitch
Joanne,
markers.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. I have purple stitch marker. These are so pretty. Everyone got a pair of beaded stitch markers in a cute little. I love mini containers. This is just fun. So, yeah, got stitch markers. All right, and then Joanne, over the last couple of weeks, one of Joanne's knitting goals is hats. And she was going to knit 6 new hats this year. That was her goal. She was very expressly 6 hats, not 7, not 5, 6 hats that are going to be new shop models. And she's been frantically working on these hats for the last couple of weeks. Our last podcast, you were showing them off as UFOs, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyways, she wrote up the patterns, and all of us got the 3 patterns for the 3 new hats that Joanne has designed this year. So that was fun. And then one more thing. Where did these come from? These are cute.
Just a sale at Walgreens of all places.
Oh my gosh.
You know, they put all those gift boxes out at
Sure,
Christmas
sure.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like packs with 3 or 4 of these in, and so I bought them all.
Oh my gosh, what a great idea.
They're
Anyways,
really
these
cute.
great little notebooks, lined paper inside. I keep a little notebook like this in my knitting bag all the time. You never know. Granted, you can always keep notes on your phone, and I do, but I always have a little book like this in my knitting bag all the time. And just as a side note, I've gone to a math convention for school. Every year in May, the first weekend in May, there's this big math convention. I've gone to that, and every year there is one of the sponsors puts out little books like this too. Every year I grab a stack of these little books. You know what I also do with this? Now this one is not going to Cora. Cora loves these little books. She writes notes in them. There's nothing better than a little book with lined paper in it.
You know, was it Friday night at the retreat was show and tell? So projects we'd finished last year. So we started writing down
Oh my gosh, what a great idea.
patterns that we liked when people described.
Yeah. So always having a little notebook. I keep one in my purse at Christmas time with my Christmas shopping list.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Joanne will return, I'm sure.
Yes, she's
kinda-
just getting a coughing attack here. Okay, and that's what was in the goodie bag. These are lovely.
There, it was a great swag bag.
Yeah, yeah. And the bag, Joanne has a secret stash for this fabric, so I'm not going to divulge her secret, but it's vinyl. I mean, how easy clean. It's not going to get beat up.
This time of the year.
You know,
Yeah.
I love the vinyl, so that was really cool about these. So I guess I gotta say thanks because I really like my
Yes,
bag.
it was
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, what do you want to talk about next?
Oh, I want to talk about, I got to find it here, the classes, how wonderful they are. As I told you, these are two of our teachers, and this is one of the things I made. Now, this
This
may
is
look
so
a little
funny.
weird, but I took 3 different heel classes. And the first heel is the German short row heel. And I took that
I like that
class.
heel.
That's a good idea how you did that on the same sample.
And then this over here was the OMG heel.
And see, yours worked. Okay, well, that's
yeah.
good.
And this one here is the sweet tomato heel.
See, that's interesting.
So is there benefits to, I've not done these, or is there
This
benefits to
tomato
one
is
type?
not as deep.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can see it's a,
It's more rounded.
yeah,
All
more
right.
rounded.
Okay.
And it goes all the way around a couple of times.
Oh,
Okay.
So it might mess up a striping pattern. So
sure.
you'd want to think about that.
Oh, I
Sure.
should.
The German short row, I think it turned out really nice. I don't like German short rows like when we did our Yum, and you can see
Yes.
where you did the short rows. I don't like
Right,
that.
you can see
But
it.
here, it makes that nice line, and then it's not so bad. So I really like that. And that's a nice deep one, nice and square. The OMG is kind of more of a rounded one too.
And that looks
But
a little thicker.
It's a little bigger.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I guess I should do it this way, and
It does have a wider heel cut.
Yeah, it's a wide, for a little bigger heel. So,
Well, and you know, these different heels will fit a foot differently.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to find the heel that fits your foot.
Right.
I
Yep,
know
I've
that
always
you
thought
knit
that.
a different toe on yours. You knit
I do a rounded toe, yeah.
A rounded toe. I work, the wedge works fine on my feet. And what I find as I kind of think about toes and heels on socks, what I'm finding out is all you got to do, really, is find out a couple of things about socks, and you can knit any sock to fit any foot. Once you know, let's just talk about your personal foot. Once you know how many stitches around your foot fits fine. Mine is a 64 stitch sock.
Yep.
Okay, and that will vary a little bit if it,
Yeah.
on a stitch pattern needs a 2 more stitches or something like that. That that does happen, but you can kind of do the math on that. So I'm a 64 stitch sock. I like a slip stitch heel on the back. Okay, I like that because I wear clogs and it holds up better in my clogs. My clogs have a back, my dance goes. And so I wear them a lot to school, so I want that there. So I know that I'm going to knit a heel that has a slip stitch to it. And then I like a wedge toe. Those 3 components. Oh, and this works in both directions. So just think about, okay, if I'm going to go cuff down, I need so many stitches in my cuff and a certain cast on that's going to work. For my cuffs, I use a specific cast on if I'm going cuff down. So I do cast on, cuff, ribbing pattern, whatever it is, and find something that fits you.
Right.
And then
Absolutely.
customize it. Always, and it's a recipe. I use this cuff. Then you can throw in whatever stitch pattern you want. Find a stitch dictionary of one you like. Make it, work on around your leg. Find your heel that you like. Stick that in. When you're done with your heel, put your cuff or your stitch pattern on the top and do whatever you want for the toe. And it works in both directions. Come up with your formula for your foot. Once you know how to do that, heck, you can do that with anybody's foot.
It's a process. You're going to have to try each of them.
Try 'em out.
I tried a lot.
See what you like,
You know what?
what you don't
And
like.
I do that, and now the socks, I'm going to run and get real quick. The socks that I knit as my sample for this class, that's really what I did. I didn't use a pattern. I picked a stitch pattern I liked, and I picked, I was going to do that heel, and the toe is the toe, and the cuff is the cuff.
Right.
So, You knit any sock that way, and then it's not like a designing. You're just taking bits and pieces and putting them together. So it's the whole recipe thing. Much
Agreed.
like you did with the Fingerless Mitts.
Right,
It's
yeah.
a recipe. And once you've got a good recipe that works, go with it. So that was my spiel on socks, which was totally unplanned.
We stick to a very tight script
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Or not.
All right, what else did you have going from this? I'm going to run and get my sock because I want to show that.
I took was crocheting with beads. I didn't get very far, but it was really fun. I'm going to have to get up again here to show you. I don't want to take it out, but you can see a little bracelet
Yeah, you
I'm
can see
starting.
that pattern
It
starting.
spirals around. I'm a little loose, for my very first project.
She's
so
a loose woman.
some of the beads fell inside. But I mean, it's turning out pretty good. It's not bad. And that was a brand new technique for me, something I never even attempted
too.
before.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
When I was a kid, my grandma used to make these spiral, it would go around with that type of pearl bead. And I remember her making them. To the life of me, I cannot remember if she crocheted them or if it was something she did with the thread on needle or something.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I
someone
don't
else
remember.
was talking that there's like a disc where you put you like braid them.
No, this was not a braiding thing. This was
Okay.
definitely, it made this same kind of tight, call it a spiral.
Okay.
This kind of the same look. And they were absolutely gorgeous. And I betcha, because my grandma was kind of a pack rat, I won't go so far as to say hoarder, but, and my aunt lived with her, she was single. Obviously grandma's long gone and my aunt is in a nursing home right now, but everything is still in the house. There's things still in that house that have been there since I was a kid. I know exactly where, if I wanted to go find some of those pearl bead necklaces that grandma made, I know exactly where I would look.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And and somewhere I would venture that there is one in process because after grandma passed away, I don't think my aunt did much with anything of grandma's stuff either. It's just that they couldn't do change. It was just this weird thing, and I bet you that's still at grandma's house, and I should see if I can't find it and just kind of like deconstruct it to see what they did.
Yeah.
I bet it's a lot like that.
Okay. Cool.
So, all right.
So, what was your favorite class you did or took?
I think I taught brioche. That didn't go well, again, just for reasons it was the first time we taught it. And it's, at least in my mind, a fairly difficult.
Yeah,
I think so.
Can you, oh, there it is. That. I taught a class on helical knitting.
This is cool.
So a helix is a spiral, and it is when you want to do one row, each row is a different color, repeats, but you don't want to jog. So it's just a technique that you use so that the spiral just continues.
That's
and so this was just a child's hat that we did. It was interesting to see the colors that people chose and the different yarns. And some had high contrast, some had low contrast, so that was kind of interesting. I think it's a great way to use scraps. So let's say you knit a colorwork sweater and you have a bunch of different colors left. If you wanted to do a hat similar to that.
Oh, I never would have thought of that, but that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Taught a beaded fingerless glove pattern, that was good. I'm trying to think, I enjoyed the crochet, that was good for my brain. To figure out how to crochet. I don't crochet much, but to figure out the construction and to work with beads. So, gosh, I really enjoyed that too. And your class on Ravelry that you taught was...
That was fun.
We're all going to try to help each other stay a little more up to date on Ravelry so that we can see projects, link it to the shop. So that it just helps with the building of the community too, I think.
Right. And our chat threads on the shop site, they're there. They're not real active, and I wish they would be more.
Maybe they will be after something like this, don't you think?
Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
and the idea of being able to link a pattern to it or link a project to it, and starting with your personal space on Ravelry about what you're working on and being able to share that with the wider community of the public spaces on Ravelry, I think would be cool. Joanne and I are kind of working out some of the logistics yet on, we want to offer that same Ravelry, how to use Ravelry class in the shop. And so once we got the logistics worked out, it will be on our class list. I think that there's a lot of people that are just a little not sure of how to do whatever on Ravelry, and I'd love to be able to help you do that. So.
It's just nice to be able to track your stash, to watch your projects, to do different challenges if you wanted to. Oh, and then last night for fun, we were able to figure out what your ID number was, what number.
Ravelry member.
Yeah, Ravelry member number, so that was fun to do that.
And you were like 100,000.
You were the lowest number.
138,000 something.
And you're like, I'm a million something.
And when did you go on?
January of 2011.
And I went on about, I would say it was early 2009. So it was like, say 6 months or so after you did.
Right.
So, and I didn't even look up my number. I didn't have my laptop in the room at the time. So I'm going to do it at home. I'll let you know what my number is.
That was fun to do.
Yeah. And then
So-
somebody else looked up and they're up to 8 million.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
8 million people.
What a powerful search engine that is. Or I suppose it's not a search engine. It's a
When
great
it comes to
tool.
patterns, it is.
Yeah.
I call it Facebook for knitting.
Yeah,
That's what I tell
I
people.
agree. I have met so many people through the different Ravelry groups that I participate in, and to me, that those friendships are no different than our table of influence on Thursday night, and the camaraderie that you see in this room right here today. You can do that in an online world too. And what's funny, I'll talk about my friend Math Patty. I'll just share that really short story. Patty and I met in a chat room on Ravelry. And it just so happened that in our conversation, I found out she was coming to Wisconsin for a knitting retreat in Madison last year. So I said, oh, wow, I could drive to Madison. So I literally drove the 2 hours to Madison, hung out with Patty for an hour, and drove 2 hours home. Oh, wait, I think there might have been a stop at the Wisconsin Craft Market in between there, but we won't talk about that. But I did that, literally to go meet Patty in person. And then that got followed up with us hooking up at ZK last June.
Yep.
And Patty met Dawn, and Patty met Joanne. So our group that went to ZK. And then Patty was here this weekend. And so that's how the world's working these days.
That's a good example of how Ravelry can work.
And there are other people that I've met that I would like to be able to do that someday with. Another gal that I've met lives out near my son out in California, but they come to the UP every summer for vacation. So one of these years, I know that I'm going to hook up with that gal up in the UP just because, that's the way it works. And other bonuses of using Ravelry, definitely I am by far more organized of a knitter. And I'm more productive, and I like that. I mean, I like to complete stuff.
Right.
So-
You do. You're very good at that. Very driven.
So, yeah, and I think Ravelry helps me do that. I really do. So, okay, so that was one of the most successful classes I taught, and I will say that Cindy is doing a phenomenal job. She passed the class with flying colors.
Oh, yeah.
So
She's still on it over there
She's
right
on
now.
Ravelry right now, looking up patterns, or she added stuff to her stash. She set up project pages, and she said, "Oh my gosh, this is just amazing." So I'm glad.
Yeah, star pupil.
Definitely. Here is the mini sock that we knit in my class.
That was fun.
Oh, this was so cute. Okay, there were parts of this class that were frustrating. I did not write the instructions for this class. However, were I to teach the class again, I would rewrite them. I just borrowed them from Megan Williams, who is the designer of the OMG heel. This is the little version. These socks, by the way, do fit a bitty baby, just saying. A bitty baby, yeah. And the other one is on the needles yet. So, Cora's baby will get socks later this afternoon. This is the adult version. And I used a self-striping yarn. Now, this is one of the things that I have learned about this OMG heel, and this is what I like about it. This is a self-striping yarn. You don't see a break of where the heel was.
You don't?
No.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it. When you get to, the big difference is that you increase quick, there's no gusset. So you don't have that section of your sock that has all those stitches that you're increasing every other row on or decreasing off depending upon which direction you're going. And then it does have a little bit of slip stitch area, and then you go right back into your pattern. The section of the heel goes, well, I don't know if I can show it, from here to here, all right? And it's one repeat of my self-striping yarn.
Nice.
And so that's why when you come around to join in the round again, you don't have that color distortion. I don't know if it works with every self-striping yarn, but every one I've tried it on, it has worked.
Very good. That's
So,
nice.
I don't know, it's magical.
I like to keep the sequence in line. So.
I do too. So when I have a self-striping yarn, I was doing afterthought heels. And I don't dislike an afterthought heel. I mean, there's nothing wrong with an afterthought heel, but this is magical. I like that.
What yarn is that?
This is a Biscotti and C.
Okay.
They're Helix sock.
Okay.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah. One of my favorite.
I love that ribbing
Self-striping.
pattern, so I do that a lot.
Yeah, it's a 2x6 rib, no big deal. So, okay, so what else do we have to show here?
Well, I can show some of my knitting I've done
Yeah,
here,
let's
the
do it.
very little bit.
Look at this sweater, it's amazing.
Well, I've showed it a couple of times. It's getting better every time.
Oh my
I love this sweater.
Yeah, I started out with the light and I got darker and darker and darker. And I'm on the bottom ribbing right now. I finished up the little triangle on one side here.
I'm gonna have to buy that book.
That's Hoagie Locatelli's Glacier Tunic, and the yarn is from Black Cat Fibers. So, still working on that one.
That's going to be spectacular, Joy.
I did finish the ribbing on the bottom of Cadence's sweater. This is the red one, Blue Doxy Dye Works. I'll show you the ribbing. That's Blue Doxy Dye Works DK. I just love it. The color is
I love that
beautiful.
color.
It's like she used 3 different reds and then a black speckle. It's gorgeous. And this was just the Ann Bud pattern, and then I added this out of the Japanese Stitch Dictionary.
And you said there was not a cable needle used in that.
No.
It's
like-
all like twisted.
Yeah, or you'll be here and you'll work into the second stitch and then the first one, and it twists itself.
Gotcha, that is spectacular.
Yep, no cable needle needed. So yeah, that's for Cadence, my granddaughter. So that's all the knitting I got done besides my heel experiment.
Well, that was a great way to compare those different heel techniques.
Yeah.
I think that's clever.
Yeah. So what have you been working on here?
Part of the class that we're taking, the Mystery Shawl Mania at Magpies, last Saturday, Amy released a new pattern, which is Elevation by Aspen Knits.
Right.
We had a choice to do a wrap or a shawl. I picked the wrap.
So did everybody.
The colors, again, when you see all the different ones, but it's going to be a long rectangle. This mini set was by So Happy Jane, and it was, I think her mini sets are called Mini Poppers. We
Yeah,
got them
something
at
like
the
that,
Ann Bud
poppers.
retreat.
Yeah.
And then the main color is by
Knitted Wit.
Knitted Wit, and it's carbon.
Yep.
And
One of my
that-
favorite
Knitted Wit
neutrals.
Victory Sock.
Yep.
Victory Sock, yeah. So yeah, and then when you do the other end, it'll go in opposite of this so that you use all the minis up. But gosh, the colors that everybody was
Yeah.
working on here. this
Yeah.
weekend.
I mean, yeah, we had what, 4
Not-
people working
Not
on it?
bad for a retreat knit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, not.
Which is nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, show them what you're working on.
Okay, I worked on only one thing this weekend. So I am testing this pattern. It will be available. It's going to be something named after rhododendrons. Anyways, it is this sweater. It has this wonderful leafy. I don't know if I'm showing it. Leafy pattern with the vines and everything on this stitch, and it's a top-down knit. I'm testing it. The leaves on here do the same technique, or at least the vine part does the same technique as you're using in Cadence's sweater with the
Okay.
twisted stitches. And so that, and what it does in the garter stitch is that it raises them a little bit. So I literally came here with the sleeves off, and I worked on the body the whole time. I am
Okay.
ready to do the bottom edge.
Yay.
I want to measure it when we're done, but I think I got enough to do the bottom edge, and
All
then
right.
I will have done the body of that
That's
sweater
amazing.
this weekend.
In a weekend.
You know?
Nice.
Yeah, because if it wouldn't have been for this weekend, I probably have missed my deadline on the test.
Oh,
So yeah, because it's due February 4th, I think.
okay.
And so I gotta have the sweater done, blocked, and wearable by
I
February
love
4th.
that color. And what yarn is that?
It is Stonehenge Fiber Mill Shepherd Worsted.
Stone.
So Stonehenge, they're an indie dyer out of Michigan.
Okay.
And they have a really nice. What I like about the fabric it's creating, it's a worsted weight yarn, but I'm knitting it at a DK gauge, so it's a little sturdy.
Oh, good. It'll be nice and warm.
Yeah, I think so, and it shows the definition really well. I think. So, and I don't know, it seems to have a good halo to it too. So they've got
Yeah.
it's nice yarn. I've used it for a scarf once, and then just this. So,
Nice.
but that's what I've been working on.
I see something else over there. Are you going to show any yarns or anything?
Oh, well, yeah,
that one.
Joanne found. Okay, one of the things that I think a lot of us appreciate when we come to the retreat is we have a little mini market. If you need a needle, she's got some. You know, nothing's worse than not having the right size needle if you want to cast on. So I picked a yarn off of the table that was new, and this is like, you know, we've got some Malabrigo that has never made it to the shop. So those of you coming into the shop, you'll get the stuff we didn't want. I'm just kidding. Okay. However, Joanne found a new, this is called Rosalind. It is from Cascade, which tells me that a couple of things. One, it's a pretty decent yarn, and it has a good price point. It's only $15 for the ball, and there are 382 yards on this ball. It is a sport weight, but it's 70-30 wool and silk. So it's going to have a beautiful sheen to it, a gorgeous drape. This is going to be a sweater. I don't know when I'm going to knit it, but I mean, it's going to be a sweater. So, and I noticed that there's been a few sweater quantities walking out of here.
Oh, has there?
Of this stuff,
Definitely
yes.
has been the most popular seller.
Definitely.
didn't
So,
know
that.
yeah. So, I was debating between red and this pink or purple or mauve, whatever you call it. I don't know color.
That's beautiful.
So, I think that's going to be a
I
sweater.
like that tweed, or I don't know
Yeah.
if that's what you call it, a tweed.
Yeah, and I think what it really is silk doesn't take the dye as well as wool. And so that's what you're seeing, the lighter parts is the silk.
Okay.
That makes
You know what
sense.
it reminds me of? Kenzie.
Oh,
With the
okay.
silk noils in here.
Yeah.
And Kenzie does the same thing. And only Kenzie is a worsted, but it can be knitted at a DK gauge, whereas this is definitely thinner. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to knit this. So yeah,
Very
that's the
nice.
one yarn I wanted to show.
Okay. And somebody has this
Oh, I
here. Let's
forgot
talk
about that.
about that.
So the second shawl in the Mystery Shawl Mania series was Plaid is the New Fad. It is by Callie Monster of Monster Knits. It was an amazing shawl to knit. The blocking is what brings it to life.
Yeah, it
'Cause
looks
you get
pretty.
to see all the slip stitches. The light gray and the dark gray I bought at ZK last year from One Twisted Tree.
So
she's
more for
going out
ZK.
of business.
Oh,
Yeah,
stinks.
she's closing her shop. And then the pink is from Elgin Knitworks, knit specifically for the 3-Ply podcast.
Oh,
So one time when Penny and I were in Chicago podcasting, we just stopped by their shop. So yeah, it was amazing. And again, I wish you could see all the colors of what
Oh,
the
yeah.
different
Oh.
ladies are doing, from red, white, and blue to
yes.
Gray
The best
and
part
black.
is with the shawl series this year, because we did it every other month, people are finishing them.
Yeah.
And we'll have a whole slew of FOs come April. So in April, Joanne's going to have all of our shawls in the window.
Yep.
As many as people who want to do it. And you'll be able to see some of the amazing colors that people chose for their shawls. And I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing
Yeah.
that.
And
So,
if people will post them to Ravelry and then post them to Magpies
Yes.
as their group, you'll be able to see all the different colors.
yes,
Yep.
you can either tag a Magpies or share with the
yeah,
group for
either
Magpies. Either way, it works. And so, yes.
So
I
And
think
there's a
that-
new app. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's called Close Knit. And if you bring it up, it shows you all of your friends, whatever they finished or put on their project page, or even just favorited. It's like an Instagram thing, kind of, you know,
Ravelry,
just at
right?
the moment.
I thought that was amazing.
It shows all your friends, just your friends, nobody else, just your friends, and Ravelry. It's kind of a neat app. It's free too.
Oh, what's it called?
Close knit.
Close knit.
It's
I
got
might
that
have to
same
download that.
ball of yarn that's on the Ravelry homepage.
Oh, okay. So it's got to be developed by them, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not. I don't remember.
I don't either.
Downloaded it. No, my friends popped up automatically, and I was
Wow.
like, oh, cool.
Is it Android or Apple or both?
Yeah, I put it on the Apple.
Okay.
Oh, so did I. So I don't know if it's Android.
I'll have to try it on and see if I can get it on
Yeah.
Android.
Just for
Or
close
you can
knit.
come over to the bright side and get an apple.
I'll just see if I can put it on my iPad.
I know.
I am not going to jump into an Apple phone. Okay, there are people that ask me why. Truth is, having an Android phone when everybody in my family who I'm communicating with is on the same Android
makes
phone
sense,
system,
absolutely.
it just makes sense. And as a person who teaches, I straddle the Mac world just to, you know, and the Android world because I have my business background, which is all done in PC language, and then I have my school world, which is all done in Apple language,
world, yeah.
and I'm good at going between the two, so it works. But
Yep.
so I see no need to switch at this point.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was just
So
giving you a hard time.
I know people love doing that to me, you know.
You're
Oh,
so,
my iPad.
You're so shy and bashful. That's
I
really
know,
good.
I know.
Thank
Here
you.
you go. I have one FO.
Okay, show your FO.
Look at
My
that.
hat. I wanted a new hat because I got a new coat. So I grabbed some of Laurel's Blue Doxy Dye Works. I think this is called Ocean something or other. Cool color. And then of course the pom-pom is made by Joanne. Yes. She
Isn't
has
that
these in this shop. I love this pom-pom. You know, you can buy a lot of pom-poms online. I mean, that's no big deal. But when Joanne makes these, they're handmade, number one. And number two, they just fluff up way better. I just think that the pom-pom makes the hat. So I love my hat. I'm going to do mittens to match, but I don't know when I'll get at that. I got a sweater to finish by February 4th, remember? So, yeah.
That's
But
coming quick.
it's coming, I know.
It might be the year of the hat, huh?
Well, it's going to be the year of the sweater.
Oh, for you.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep.
So we were going to talk about knitting goals.
Oh, okay.
So what are your goals?
Well, my knitting goal, I set the 6 hat one.
Yeah.
And I'd like to make a sweater before ZK. I don't need to make one by February 4th. I just want to have a sweater done by ZK. If I get 2 done, it's a bonus, but 1...
We're going to
One
start our
left.
ZK sweaters earlier this year, though.
Yeah, well, I plan on wearing that one to ZK.
sure.
Yeah.
And then, then I want to make a couple summer tees for ZK. But we'll see. I'm not going to commit to that because that's a lot. Especially if you do fingering weight.
Don't
That
you
is a
fingering
lot
weight.
of knitting. That is a
Yeah.
lot of knitting.
So,
What are your knitting goals?
Well, I'm going to try to do 6 shawls, 3 of which are by Melanie Burke.
Okay.
So part of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast, we're going to do a year-long knit-along with any Melanie Burke pattern. So I just thought, and I should have brought that, I cast it on Midnight in Berlin.
It's gorgeous. I've seen it.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is amazing. So, so that's probably my biggest one. I also want to learn a couple new techniques. I need to get better at Fair Isle and brioche, and I think those are some of my major goals. And I started a scrappy blanket. So.
yeah.
Well, what are my goals? Let's see. 6 sweaters. It's the year of the sweater. But truth is, I got 2 done already. Well, once this one's done. That's 2 of the 6. And then I have 3 t-shirts picked out
Yeah.
that are in my queue that I wanted to knit. One of them I bought the yarn at, 2 of them I bought the yarn at ZK last summer. I bought the Queen City, was that what it was called, Queen City, for that t-shirt. And then I bought some black cat fiber to do a different t-shirt called Elf. And then, what was my third one going to be? I don't remember.
Novelty.
Novelty. And that's right, I told you about that this morning. And that one I'm going to knit out of DK Weight Kopasi. I want to try the Kopasi DK. You've got some nice colors in the shop. I don't know if I'm going to choose the pink or the purple or the camel.
Oh, you're going to take a solid.
Yeah.
Because they have some variegated too, I think, right? Yeah.
I don't know if the DK weight comes in the variegated. You've got the fingering in the variegated, and it's more of a semi-solid. And I used the fingering last year for my ZK sweater, and I loved the way it knit up. I mean, the drape on that yarn, the way it held its shape. You know, okay, I have this issue, and I'm sure I've talked about it. I hate cotton yarn, but the Kobasi, I do.
You do.
I just did, you know, when it's garment knitting. I've used cotton yarn for other things, you know. Can't beat my cotton yarn market bag. I love it, but I just hate cotton yarn in a sweater because for me it just always seems to stretch the wrong way.
Oh.
And I just don't like it. It's just a hang up. Okay, I'm picky, I guess. It's just me. But when I knit that sweater for ZK last year, out of that Kobasi, it didn't lose its shape. It washed beautifully. I could throw it in the dryer, and it didn't pill. It didn't do anything nasty. I love the sweater. So I've decided if the fingering worked fine, I'm going to try it in the DK.
Yeah.
And it has a little elastic to it, and maybe that's why it keeps its shape.
I wonder, yeah.
But I love the yarn.
What is bamboo and silk? Cotton, bamboo, silk.
Yes.
Kobasi.
Yes. And so maybe it's the bamboo and the silk that make it stretchy and keep its shape. I don't know, but I tell you, that sweater was really, really nice. I was very, very happy.
I think you could block it at ZK in the hotel room if you need to.
I did that before.
Yeah.
It took a long time to dry though.
Well, I'm thinking
Like a
I'm
day and a
gonna,
half.
you know,
That was funny.
I'm gonna have to have it done sooner than
I
that.
know, that was
Yeah.
just kind of a funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we started those sweaters. What was it?
We only had like 2 or
I was
2.5
gonna
weeks
say it
to make
wasn't
those
very
sweaters.
far.
Yeah.
You guys decided at
Yeah,
the
we
last
decided
minute.
at the last minute.
Yeah. We were at, I think it was a knit night. And I
Yeah,
was
and
sitting
I
there.
had just started mine, and you wanted to do it too.
And
so,
I looked at
yeah.
what you had started, and I was going to use the same yarn, but then I thought, no, that wasn't what I wanted, and I was real happy with the sweater. So,
That was very good, yeah. But it was light. You guys really busted those out quick.
Yeah.
well, school was out, so that kind of helped. I knit steadily for a couple of days, and, you know, that's what made it doable for me, the
Yeah.
fact that I didn't have to go to work.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, so that's my goal, sweaters. And the other thing I'm going to do is organize my stash and my projects. I have a rule. I created a rule. It's not really a goal. My rule is the project has to be in my queue. I'm going to clean up some of the things in my queue that I have wanted to knit for a really long time.
Are you
There-
allowed to add to your queue during
sure.
the year? Oh, okay.
Oh, sure. I already added the sweater that this is going to be to my queue.
Oh, okay.
It's already in there. But the point I'm trying to make is there are things in there that I have bought yarn for. It's sitting in my queue, and I haven't gotten to it.
Wow, yeah, that's
and
a good goal.
if the yarn is in my stash, I want to, I mean, I'll accomplish reducing the stash and reducing the queue. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to focus on that.
Yeah.
So,
You should share your goal about your UFOs.
oh yeah, and that was the other thing. So I did have 4 goals: sweaters, queue, stash, and then FOs. I have least, well, I made a list. There was 17 UFOs. That was just an off the top of my head, writing them down kind of list. I didn't actually go into my UFOs and count them, but things that I know. In there are 3 sweaters, for sure, a couple of shawls, for sure, a hat. I mean, it was amazing. 17 UFOs. I decided to pare that list down to 12 because there were 5 projects of those 17 that I was going to frog. All right? So those are on the frog list, and I'll just frog them when I have time, but I know I'm frogging them. And then of the 12, I'm going to pick one of those UFOs every month and finish it. Just pick one off the remaining list of 12. You know, there is no saying that list of UFOs isn't going to grow because something I start this year
but you know
won't
what?
make it.
Yeah.
But those 17 that are sitting out there, they're going to be gone by the end of this year.
Nice.
Okay.
So we'll see what
Nice
happens.
to look at them and make some decisions.
You know, that whole look at those UFOs and say, finish your frog, make a decision and do it.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then the thing is, you can reclaim that yarn. And I think that, you know, reuse that yarn. I mean, I've got lots of yarn that could be reused.
I frogged my cozy memory blanket that I was knitting the mitered squares.
Yeah.
I frogged that this past week. Took the yarn home for my crocheted one because those mitered square, that takes forever. I know I would never ever finish that blanket. It would just sit there. So I frogged it all. Took the yarn home for the crocheted one. Crocheted one goes so much quicker.
It does,
I know
yeah.
I'll finish that.
Well, there is this part of me that wants to do that very thing because I was going to throw a magic cake together for this event, and I got the yarn organized and I knew what order I wanted it in. I just never got around to tying all the little knots, you know, to do the magic knot on it. And yeah, my stash of sock yarn is getting bigger and bigger. But there is this part of me that says, really, a cozy memory blanket of sock yarn? I just can't knit a blanket out of sock yarn.
No,
I
it was
just can't
taking
do it.
forever.
It would take me forever. So I don't know what I'm gonna. I want to do magic cakes. I think I'm gonna throw all of my sock yarn into magic cakes as I come up with the leftovers. Put it in a magic cake already, or come up with. I'm thinking like a Fibonacci sequence of grams. Like, you know, we'll start out with 2, and for those, it's a math geek thing, the Fibonacci sequence. And so come up with a Fibonacci sequence for the amount of either yardage or grams or something that I'm going to put in this magic cake. And then do a cozy memory blanket and just make the magic cakes up. And a Fibonacci, so I'll call my magic cakes my Fibonacci magic cakes. And they'll be in a sequence, and then you'll be able to knit them into something. So I kind of got this, maybe it's going to be a cowl. And I've kind of even got it in the back of my head, you know, I should just design my own cowl for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't do designing. I like other people's work. You know?
I'm trying to decide if Fibonacci is a real word.
Yes, it is. Okay.
I know it is.
All the,
It's like
it's a math geek
I'm gonna
thing.
use that word 3 times yet today.
Yes. So my plan is to create a Fibonacci something magic
That's
cake
brilliant,
out of
yeah.
out of fingering weight yarn, you know, and then come up with the pattern to use it in that
Okay.
sequence. So maybe it'll be something very basic, you know, but I want to use that amount of yarn and then come up with that striping sequence.
Cool.
So 2019 may be the first year you design.
Maybe.
Whoa, exciting.
Maybe.
Exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I have two stealth design projects in my mind.
I have none.
Well, now one of them isn't stealth. It's my Fibonacci cake. So,
Okay.
Amy's Fibonacci cake. Doesn't that sound fun?
It does.
So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But
Okay.
my other one, I'm not telling anybody about yet.
Okay.
I'll probably tell you later secretly because you'll love it.
Okay.
I know you will. It'll be something. Oh, that'd be so cool. So,
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, things you come up with. Next week is your class for Alpine Sunset.
Yes.
Anybody wants to join in the last minute? Come in Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30. It's a beaded shawl with lace, so you learn a couple techniques. It runs 2 sessions, so it's next Wednesday, and then I think it's 3 weeks.
Later it's in
Later.
February. Yeah. Alpine Sunset is my favorite shawl pattern to teach beading and lace.
It's an excellent one for that.
Yeah, it's easy to follow. It's got a good repeat. The lace isn't complicated, and the beads are just beautiful.
Versatile too. You can do 1 color, 2 colors, 1 skein, 2 skeins.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you don't want to put beads on, you don't have to. Maybe you just want to learn how to do lace. That's fine too, because you don't have to bead the shawl. It can be done unbeaded. Of all of my shawls, that one, my 2-color one, is probably my favorite shawl. I don't know why. I just love that shawl.
It's a very nice shawl.
You know,
Knitted with yarn. Yeah.
Yeah.
That has something to do with it too.
yeah, that was nice yarn.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this color.
Yeah,
That's one of the colors.
that's maybe why.
Well,
And
I
a red.
love that color
Yeah.
and a red, and it's this carbon and
that's the one
red.
that's on display, right, at the shop?
Did I bring it in?
You brought it in.
Okay. I wanted it there so that people could see what we were knitting. So, but You know what? I might have to knit another one. Oh, but I don't do that. That would be breaking a rule.
You already knit 2 of those.
No, they're different. I did a big one and a little one.
Oh,
I can get around my own rules. I'm pretty good at that.
okay.
So,
Well, ladies, thank you for letting me join you. This was
I'm
Maybe
glad
next
you
time
could
Penny can
come.
join us.
Yeah, that would be great.
I hope so. We
do
missed
too.
her
Yeah,
very
we do,
much this
very much.
weekend,
Yeah.
you know, and what are you going to do? You can't count on the weather, so.
And watch for next year's retreat and join us.
Absolutely.
This has been a blast, so, yes.
Yeah. Alrighty. Bye.
Bye-bye. Happy knitting.
Bye.